Hello, welcome to my channel. Welcome to Jessica's channel. Today we're going to talk about self-love, how to connect to it, what is it, and how to best love yourself through this life. What really is going to help you connect to loving yourself. So first, what is self-love? Self-love is really being compassionate towards yourself. It is really understanding yourself, getting to know yourself, because we're always changing, we're always evolving, and there are three parts of us, right? Our mind, our body, and our soul. It's our trinity. So when one of those things sometimes isn't aligned, it's because it's telling us something. It's telling us that some part in our life is not congruent with who we are, the life that we're meant to live that is in love. So when we have some tension or some friction, it's because a part of us is not abiding in love. It's not seeing ourselves in the most loving way. So for example, this can look like in your career. Maybe you have tension there, or in your relationships. And this really shows up in your mind, the way that you think about a situation. It can show up in your body if you are feeling, if you have an illness, or if is like pain showing up in your body. So for example, a really personal one for me is I got injured on my left toe, on my left big toe, and the left side of the body is all about femininity. It's about divine feminine. It's about acceptance. It's about worth. It's about receiving. And there was a part of me that didn't feel worthy of receiving, and specifically with career, and working through that and navigating through that and really surrendering and breaking those walls of fear. And once those walls get broken, you're able to surrender and realize that love is truly the only thing. So really pay attention to your body and see how it's speaking to you. What is it saying to you? The body is the most unconscious aspect of us. It is really kind of the last ripple of our mind and our thoughts, and that's how it's manifested. So really pay attention to your body. Ask your body how it's doing. Touch base with it, because it tells you a lot about how you're loving yourself, or how you're not. Are you giving yourself enough rest? Are you moving your body enough throughout the day to release energy? Are you listening to it? It's so important. So really understanding yourself, and that also is understanding your emotions, and that has a lot to do with self-love, because your emotions are not you. They are just a part of you, and they're telling you something. They're messengers. So all of these aspects are tools for you to understand yourself and to better use them to act on self-love. So really understanding what loving yourself looks like and feels like on you. And I invite you to practice this meditation that I'm going to do. It's really quick, but I just want you to close your eyes and just, wherever you are, I hope sitting down, just close your eyes and just connect to your breath in and out. And I want you to see your most loving, joyful self. What does she or he look like? What is she or he wearing? Is it a feeling that shows up for you? Is it just a light that you feel? Really breathe into it and really connect with your body. Where do you feel this? Where do you feel strong, or maybe weak, or where do you feel energy in your body? and just connect to that part of yourself. Maybe put your hand on your stomach and your heart and just breathe in and breathe out. Keep focusing on your breath and really connect with them. Connect with that version of yourself that is so self-loving. What do they do? What are their habits? What are their hobbies? What do they love to do? What do they do every day that they really enjoy? And I want you to think about this and just keep the visual in your mind. What is she or he doing? And I'm just going to leave you here for a couple more seconds, and then I'm going to ask you to open your eyes. All right, you can come back. But really write down what came up for you and every single detail that you can possibly remember and connect with, because when you're able to have a vision of yourself, of what that higher self, what that most self-loving self looks like, then you are able to know in the direction that you're headed. You're able to, that you can connect to it with your action that you take in this life, so in your waking life. So if you have a vision, you have a path. You know the way, and you have to trust that, and not necessarily like every single step to get there. That's not what I mean by when you see a vision, but it's knowing that it's possible and that you are connected to it and that it will come to fruition. Like it will happen for you, but you have to action out. So once you really get excited about and you see that most loving self, and you see that person that you are and you can be, you start acting like them. You start being them. You start actioning out as them, and you become them. And this is really important too with setting your intention. So we also can't talk about self-love without talking about fear. A lot of the times what stops us from self-love is fear. And remember that fear is just in our head, and it's false. It's this idea of us being hurt, or us thinking about the worst case scenario that doesn't happen. It's us just going into this extreme, this mental fearful state. But when we know that love is real, and that love is the only truth, and that when we act with love, and when we set that intention, and when we do loving things for ourselves and for others, nothing can harm us, nothing can hurt us. The fear is just in our mind, and it's an option to act on that fear. Fear is a natural state for humans. We're going to feel fear. It's a natural emotion. But know that it's allowing you to see where you can expand, where you can grow, and you can choose to not act in fear. You can choose to act in love. So being courageous and feeling the fear and doing it anyway, doing what you love anyway, even though it feels a little scary, or like maybe you don't know all the answers right away, but you still walk that path because you're so guided and you're so loved. And it's really thinking about, you have that fear in your mind, but what should you actually fear? Like, yeah, the fear in your mind is stopping you from achieving what you love and what you want, but the true fear is never achieving it. The true fear is never believing in yourself enough to try. That's the true fear. The true fear is never being able to connect with God and love, because you live in because you're listening to this perpetual state in your mind. So really thinking about that, and really thinking about the temporary fear is just, your mind. It's about that scary feeling now. But if you think about the bigger picture, if you think about 5 years down the road, you're going to wish that you started. You're going to wish that you bet on yourself. You're going to wish that you listened to yourself more, that you believed yourself more, which leads us to, the truth about yourself is only yours, and only you know that truth. It comes from your own lived experience, from your perspective, from your eyes. And I do have a quote here from Psalms 147:11 that says, "The Lord delights in those who fear him, who put their hope in his unfailing love." So really putting that faith and that hope in knowing that it will happen for you, and you are connected to love, and that of course this world wants the best for you, and it wants you to grow, and it wants you to flourish and become that best self that you are and that you can be. And not being afraid of that growth, not being afraid of that challenge, because that is what we came here to do. That beautiful dark side of us is where we get to turn on the light and where we get to grow. The darkness is beautiful because that's where the evolution is asking us. I mean, you often hear people say, it's great to, just keep focusing on your talents and your gifts, and well, yes, that's great. That is, maybe an inherent part of who you are. But in order to build you fully and just encompassing your full potential, you need to focus on those weaknesses too. You need to shed light on, you need to be aware of the dead branches and where the pruning is needed. And knowing that pruning is such a loving act from God, from this world, from the projection that you're giving, because it's your projection. It's exactly what you need, and it's there to teach you and to help you grow and to help you evolve and to really move you forward. And when you view it in that perspective, you'll see that it's really loving. And that's how you connect to self-love, because you start to see that these experiences are just leading you closer and closer to God, really leading you closer and closer to shining more of your light. And one of the major ways to connect to self-love is through actioning out that self-love. Love is a verb, it's an action, it's evolution, it's God asking us to grow, and that's why it's connected to our shadow side. That's why it's connected to our maybe not most aware self, right? But that's why it's connected to those old patterns, because it's asking us to grow in that way. The part that you fear is where your attention is required. It's where it's needed for you to fully flourish. It's really pushing you out of your comfort zone. It's you connecting with your spirit, connecting with your breath through those uncomfortable moments, and knowing that you absolutely can do this, and that yes, love is patient, love is kind through these transitions, through this evolution, but love is also strong and disciplined, and it requires work, and it requires commitment, and it requires decisions that are based on you, your truth, and your love. It's really committing to your truth, your love, and who you are, and really aligning your actions to your goals, because that's what love is. It's in the process of loving yourself, you discover what you enjoy and what you want to give, and what fills your heart that you just want to give to others. And it's all just a beautiful process, a beautiful earth filled with people who are always giving love, because that's what we were created here to do. That's our purpose. Knowing that when things happen to you, not taking them personally, but knowing that it's all here to help you grow. It's all here to teach you something, and not being attached or taking things personally, but just knowing who you are and keeping that self-centered core strong and firm in self-love, where you create your boundaries and you know what isn't for you and what is for you. It's really about trusting your voice and trusting your heart. So I hope that was helpful. I did post a blog about this, and it's funny, when I was writing the blog, there was in the cafe, there was a beautiful young woman sitting in front of me who had a tattoo that said "Love Yourself" as I was writing the Love Yourself blog post, and I was like, oh my god, this is so perfect. And I just had to tell her, and we had a good conversation. And she said as she reached her 30s, she went through this huge awakening process of self-love, and that's usually what happens. We connect to either a partner or an experience where we are really taught to love ourselves. And so yeah, that's I'll link it below so you all can see it, but I basically just went over what I wrote about, and I explained the photo, and did the meditation with you live, because I figured that would be helpful. But I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and I really challenge you to act in that self-love. What are you holding back from yourself, not allowing yourself to receive? Really think about that, and I hope that you have a beautiful rest of your day and that you're well. Much love.